Stand up. Stand up with me. You. Stand up. No? Stand up with me. And let's go off together to fight hand to hand against the webs of evil, against a system that distributes hunger, against the organized misery. Ah, you. Stand up. Stand up with me. And let's go off together to fight hand to hand against this system that distributes hunger, against the webs of evil, against organized misery.
Before that day, I couldn't have done what Pablo wanted. I was involved only with my own life. Why should I care for the life of other people? Pablo thought differently. He tried to convince me, but I wanted no part of it. I wanted only to tend my garden, to keep my house in order, and to take care of Pablo. Until that day, September 11th, 1973. When I opened my window that morning in Isla Negra, bright sunshine streamed in. The sea looked calm, innocent. It was unusual. There was hardly a wave.
The radio. Matilde, you heard? The morgue in Santiago is filling with bodies. They are shooting people in the streets. It is the end.
It's just another threat from the military. It's exaggerated. People won't allow it to happen.
How can you say that? You heard Salvador on the radio. They've been planning this all along.
You need to rest, Pablo, rest. And turn off that radio. It's all military music, folk music, and bad news.
Promise me
a poet who filled football stadiums. But then he wrote poems even my hairdresser could understand and love.
Ode to my socks. Marumori brought me a pair of socks that she knitted with her shepherd's hands. Socks soft as rabbits. I slid my feet into them as if into two jewel cases.
And his love poetry, everyone had lines by heart.
I can write the saddest lines tonight. Write, for example, the night is fractured. They tremble blue in the distance, those stars. In the sky, the night wind turns and sings. I can write the saddest lines tonight. I loved her, and sometimes she loved me. On nights like these, I held her in my arms. I kissed her greatly under the infinite sky. She loved me. And sometimes I loved her. How could I not love those huge, still eyes? I can write the saddest lines tonight. To think I don't have her. To feel I have lost her.
And did you write that for Teresa, perhaps?
Oh, Matilde.
Then maybe for Rosaura,
Matilde.
Rosita, Josefina, Albertina. For Maruca?
Oh, not for Maruca.
Then maybe for Josie. Josie Bliss.
Josie Bliss.
Her real name? Who knows? He met her in Rangoon, and he could never forget her. When she tried to leave, she threatened him with a machete. There were always many women.
Pablo loved women.
Matilde?
Matilde, you are Rosita and Rosaura and Josefina and Josie Bliss, huh? You are the woman in Diego's portrait, the forest vermilion, the world's light. Ah, you are. Eh? The vines in the garden of my childhood. Huh?
And Delia? Delia del Carril? What is she besides being your wife?
Delia del Carril.
Who is this Matilde Urrutia?
Delia, you remember her? She's the woman who ironed your blouses in Mexico. The nightclub singer. Aye, the nurse who cared for my poor leg.
This letter I found in your jacket tells a different story.
Delia. Delia.
This is not a bourgeois marriage. If there's no love, there's nothing.
Argentina.
My mother came from Argentina, where she had a very hard life. She married my father to escape a brutal home. For a little while, their life was better. But then the gringos came and there were murders, and my mother began to live in fear. My father adored my mother, and so when she insisted to move to Chile, my father agreed. By wagon carrying the small children who were my brother and sister, they made the difficult trip over the Pampas and over the Andes into Chile. I was born in Chillán, not far from Pablo's birthplace, Parral. My father died when I was only 1, just as Pablo's mother, who died in childbirth. We grew up poor, but my mother gave me riches. She taught me how to grow things, the names of plants, of flowers. She taught me how to listen to birds and even to whistle their songs. And she wanted me to have the freedom she had never had. So she sent me to Santiago to study voice.
Blanca Hauser.
I met Pablo at the home of my voice teacher. I didn't make much of an impression. He forgot me almost immediately.
You made movies.
Oh, one movie in Peru.
You toured South America.
I was second rate at best.
Orson Welles.
The mistress of Orson Welles. Let them say it. True or not.
Oh, a liberated woman.
The woman my mother wanted me to be. Above all else, I wanted my independence. Until I met Pablo Neruda again. I was singing in Mexico, and he needed someone to care for his leg. He had phlebitis. His wife Delia was no nurse. And our affair began under her very nose.
Pablo Neruda's mistress.
At first, I was able to maintain a certain detachment. Pablo had no wish to leave Delia. The relationship was strictly emotional and intellectual, whereas ours was physical.
Delia was 65.
And Pablo was 45, and I was 37.
You were coarse.
And sophisticated, while Delia was elegant and refined. She was his equal intellectually, but Pablo and Delia were no longer lovers. They were more like friends. At any rate, I had no desire to see her lose her status as Pablo's wife. That role did not interest me.
A very comfortable arrangement,
At first, yes. But that changed.
It always does.
As our love became more passionate, my life became a lie.
An old story.
I had to leave. Every night I cried. I was losing myself, my freedom, my detachment. Pablo had brought me to Paris. I decided to return to Mexico to begin my life again.
But you couldn't do it.
No, I couldn't. His image held fast, and I couldn't lose it.
Come with me.
I couldn't make a decision. Was it to be love or freedom?
Come with me.
He asked me about my father, about my mother, about Chillán. He took such delight in the gifts my mother had given to me, my bird songs, my love of plants, of flowers. And I took such delight in sharing these things with him, in sharing all those memories that had been locked away.
Come with me.
And Pablo shared his own memories with me, the memories of the mother he had never seen, who died in childbirth. Pablo was always a child, always a sad, tormented boy, pained by the suffering of others and by the injustice he witnessed. He had seen hunger up close, and he would never feel indifferent toward it. He began writing early, and he never abandoned his work. He was weak physically, but his words were made of steel.